Hello viewers, my name is Michael. Welcome once again to my YouTube channel. Thanks for always sharing, liking, and because this channel is actually not just all about student recruitment. You can also It's also about a channel, for those of you seeking for employment, not just in Russia but some part of Europe. And we also share, beautiful information, give updates about a lot of things that is happening. One of the updates I want to share with you right now is actually a decree that is being promulgated by or proposed by the Russian president, Vladimir Putin himself, which is all about those who share common goals, values of the Russian traditions of morality. You know, there's a space for you right now in Russia. Come in and have your temporary residence permit. Of course, in 30 days' time, the list of eligible countries will be listed as long as you oppose the neoliberal ideology of immorality and decadence of your country. You have a space here in Russia for refuge. You don't really need to understand the language, the history, the laws of the Russian Federation. That is just to show you how liberal Russia is. But Russia has zero tolerance for immorality, for humans to be addressed in plural terms, as it's been done in the Western world. So Russia is creating a space for you for your sanity. Okay, come here, come and stay, come and enjoy yourself, come and have that liberation from immorality. Especially I watched some documentaries of different documentaries actually. One is actually of a man in Japan who wants to be addressed as a dog, as an animal. He got the costumes and was crawling on all four legs, with a dog chain on his neck, and the partner was taking him places, and people were playing with him, the force, petting him. That is how he wants to live the rest of his life. This is because of the decadence in intelligence, that's been uh, promulgated through the Western agenda, so to speak. I've also seen schools in America, yes, where parents are opposing the ideas of the rainbow color display, teaching children, that they have the freedom uh, to change the narratives of the agenda. If you're a male, you can decide you want to be female. If you're female, you can decide you want to be male. Putting them in the same bedroom, a lot of things, that is not supposed to be encouraged in a sane society. So Russia is saying that you can come. And of course, from the news, a lot of Americans are already in Russia. If you don't believe it, go check the facts. A lot of them are already in Russia seeking for this temporary residence permit. From there, they can get permanent residency and, of course, switch nationality. A lot from Western Europe as well already here. Those who believe that the Western agenda is actually changing the narrative of the uh, um, human civilization. They're already here because, so to speak, a lot of things are already wrong, and the narrative about Russia has to be changed because I am one of those who believe so much in Pan-Africanism, and I so much believe that Africans have the natural resources for us to take the lead in the global economic index. But as it is, the index, we are far, far low, because of what is happening. The colonization mentality is still eating deep within our system. I want to thank great countries like uh, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger Republic, and those who have opposed, the the slave mentality, trying to ensure that they take grip of their natural resources, and they actually chased out these slave masters who have actually come to siphon natural resources in the name of creating a military attachment that will train their military. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. A country is independent and you still attach military, to do what? To train them. Not just that to cause chaos and at the same time, you know, rob them of what belongs to them. So, I don't know of my country, Nigeria, anyways, because I know we are more or less a country who tries to balance in between. We're certainly not sure. And of course, if the BRICS is implemented, if the BRICS is implemented, definitely a lot of country will speak out. A lot of country will come out of the grip of the Western agenda, because the reserve we're talking about is in US dollars, the reserve we're talking about is in pounds, the reserve we're talking about is in euro. And before you say anything, you try to speak the truth, you try to come out, being um, as an independent country, you know, the sanction comes in. And once the sanction comes in, they have control of your resources. Yes, they have control of your reserve. So what else? So that is why I believe some countries are actually silent. So, well, you're welcome. I hope these African countries that are listed will be mentioned as eligible countries, for this Russia temporary residence permit. And I have had a lot of arguments on and off, even with some Africans and Russians as well, about the Russian policies for migrants. It's actually favorable. I don't understand the narrative from the media, the fourth realm estate. The Russian as a country is one of the countries that's actually supporting migrants one way or the other. Families, relocation, support with a lot of stipends, scholarships, employment opportunities, without discrimination. And I have seen migrants who work here without proper documentation. And sometimes these people take this country for granted. And that is why the infiltration sometimes is unavoidable. And at the moment, there's a very great rate going on in Moscow, St. Petersburg, greater cities, trying to fish out those who are actually living here without proper documentation, and those who actually came in here with proper documentation but through illegal means, because these are the infiltrators, and these are more or less people who are actually creating that loopholes, for Russia, you know, creating that, removing that barrier and creating the loopholes for the enemies. So if you want to love Russia with all your heart, and that is where I am. All right, that is for this segment. The next segment, we'll talk about something else. Thank you. Hello, viewers, once again. Welcome to the second segment. Yes, this second segment actually want to talk about what is happening recently in Russia Federation. There's this massive rate going on right now. Like I said, foreigners, migrants have actually made themselves a yardstick for porosity in Russia Federation, in the sense that if you're given a mile, don't take 10 miles. You need to live within the confine of the law of a country that's supporting you. It doesn't mean that if police doesn't chase you up and down, like they do, in the other part of the world, handcuff you, put your hand behind your back, put your knees on your neck, just for simple matters. It doesn't mean when you have the freedom in Russia, you should just go far and beyond. Come on, it's not right. Yeah, for those who have been into the illegal business of arranging marriage, you need to stop. You need to stop now, because there's a lot of investigation going on, and from one person to the other, there's a popular person that has actually been the leader of the syndicate in Moscow. He's actually an associate professor. I wonder, you're an associate professor, and that means you have your permanent residence, and that means you have your work permit, that means you're living fine. You should be able to do other businesses, not soiling your name or your hands in, arranging marriage, that kind of a thing. Actually, is in police custody at the moment, and it's possible if it's been what they call it, it might actually get a jail term of 7 years. 7 years minimum. It might actually get a jail term of 7 years thereabout. Either 7 years minimum or 7 years maximum. And after that, of course, he'll be sent back to his country. And I know how he's going to start afresh. Some other foreigners, not just from Nigeria, I've also been arrested. So please, like I said, and I always keep saying, the best pathway to nationalization, there are two major ways. One, buy properties. Buy properties here in Russia Federation. if you're so keen on spending that money. Number two is through education route, whether for bachelor's degree, master's, PhD, as long as you're done and at least you can speak this language basically, primarily, you're good to go. You can get your permanent residence if you have distinction, okay, in your academics. You can have permanent residence. This pathway is open. If you are for masters, it won't take you more than 2 years and 10 months. The 10 months to study the language, and with that 2 years, whether you're studying in English medium or Russian medium, you can still learn to speak the language. And after that, you can apply. Instead of making some nuisance to cajole you, using this marriage pathway. And this marriage pathway is expensive. Before you know it, you have lost close to 500, 700,000 rubles. I'm talking of about at the exchange rate of maybe 8, 9, 10 million at the moment, and all just go down the drain. So, and not just that, even our people are so lousy, very lousy people. Find some of them at the Russian embassy. There are cameras everywhere. This camera takes your audio and video. And the next thing you'll be saying nasty things. Oh, I'm actually here because I just married her. I paid her. I did that. I got this through an agent and all that. And you think they are stupid. You think they are daft. You see all these things in front of the Russian embassy. You see all these things in forums. You see all these things in WhatsApp. Even while the radio was going on, another buffoon actually said, oh, I hope they will not come for me because I also did the same arranging marriage. That mentality. Education is not scam. I'm telling you, education is not scam. You need to go to school to understand. Yes, hello viewers once again. Basically, you have four persons in the cards today. The leader of the syndicate of this so-called arranging marriage, let me use that context to describe this scenario, is an associate professor at one of the renowned university in Russia Federation. So arranging marriage in that description is actually against the law in Russia Federation because it's a crooked way of getting the Russian citizenship. Russians actually need those who seek for their citizenship genuinely. Beware.